You think the Democratic Party realizes that Biden's numbers going down and them fighting over price tag politics may have something to do with each other? The House just kicked the debt ceiling trouble to December, but that's not even really checking a box. I don't even know how many of you really care about that debt ceiling situation. At the same time, we're all likely to be searching for what ship our kids' holiday presents are stuck on. We got huge supply chain issues. You got teachers quitting in Florida. You got all kinds of workers quitting all over the place. Some of it's about the vaccine. Some we don't understand. Some never came back after COVID. Gas prices are going up. Inflation is going to be a concern soon. You'll start hearing people talk about it. Americans, again, look at this graph. This is what I was talking about earlier. Why are they quitting their jobs? Biden is expected to talk about the economy tomorrow, especially specifically these issues. But what does he have to do to get the needle moving in a positive direction for himself? And is his own party working against him? Lots to discuss. The OAO, the one and only Van Jones. So it's good to have you. Well, I've never met another one, so you are the one and only.
Fair enough.
The numbers are down. The party is fighting with itself over what should be easy wins. Are they connected?
Well, yeah, I think that right now, the honeymoon's over. There was a moment where it's like Trump's, goodbye Trump, hello vaccines. We're so glad to see you, Joe Biden. That's kind of how this year started. And then, he actually got stuff done. Don't forget, you got 200 million Americans who are vaccinated right now. You got $1 trillion that he was able to move out into the economy with the rescue plan. He's dealing with the coup attempt well. His Department of Justice is going after voter suppression. He's doing a lot of good stuff. The problem is that he put himself in a position where he made big, bold claims about the rest of the agenda. You think this great stuff that we did is good? It's nothing. Wait until this summer when you're going to get all this other stuff. And then he steps on a rake, and then he slips on a banana peel, and then he falls down the stairs with some marbles, and now people are looking at him in a negative light. Now, can they recover? Yes, they can recover. If at this time next year, if gas prices have come down, if cases are going down, jobs going up, you're going to be in a different situation. But right now, the Democratic Party is looking over the edge of a cliff, and there's a lot of fear and concern. And you're not seeing that strong Joe Biden leadership that I think people were expecting to get stuff done, to get the next round of stuff done.
So I would say it is unfair for you to say they, or that he stepped on the rake, he failed, because if I were him, I'd be blaming my people in Congress for these fights, and not just Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. I'd be mad at all of them for making me look bad. However, the last point that you made, where is the Joe Biden who knows the game, who likes straight talk, who likes to get in people's faces, who likes to talk, period? Why don't we see him all the time addressing these things, press conferences, TV shows? Where is he?
Well, when he does that stuff, sometimes people get mad at him for what he is saying. I think a couple things. Number one, the next round of wins that he needs, which has to do with getting the bipartisan infrastructure bill done and then giving the progressive something more than that. That's basically the formula. He's sitting on top of the biggest win any president could have, a massive $1 trillion bipartisan bill that even his opponent, Mitch McConnell, supports. He can't get that across the finish line, though, until he gives the progressive something more. They wanted $3.5 trillion more. Maybe they should get $2 trillion more. But once that comes across the finish line, something more for the progressives, and it's not just progressives. You're talking about helping grandmas who need hearing aids. You're talking about helping kids who need pre-K. You're talking about real stuff for real people. Then it's going to look very differently. He needs another big legislative win. That has to happen. Again, the gas prices this time next year have to be going back down. Jobs have to be going back up. He can get there, but right now you got a major problem because the victory that he promised us this summer has been held up, and it's his own party holding it up because of our internal divisions.
Where are you on the worryometer about the midterms?
Look, I'm worried right now because he, like I said, he's not getting credit for the great stuff that he's done because he promised more and hadn't delivered yet, and so I'm worried. At the same time, I do fundamentally think that we're going to be in a better place with regard to COVID this time next year. You had the number earlier, almost 80%. We're getting close to herd immunity. If you stop with Delta, if you don't wind up with an Omega variant, I think this time next year, cases are down, gas prices are down, jobs are up, and he's got some real legislative wins. But if you don't, if any of those four go the wrong way, if cases are up, gas prices are up, you still can't pull a legislative win, we're in very deep trouble.
Well, I think that you're in very deep trouble anyway, because you are going up and against an opponent that will lie about anything to beat you, that seems to have made a decision that it is better to bring the House down than to not lead it. And I don't really hear Democrats kind of expressing that like in a existential fashion, that like,
well, I don't.
These people that you're up against, they are willing to take down the democracy. I mean, we've never seen anything like what we just lived through. And you guys are fighting over price tags.
Well, I think that we're trying to show that if you let us govern, you're going to get more than just not fascism. If you let us govern, you're going to get more than just not the worst situation ever. If you let us govern, you're going to get help for your kids. You're going to get help for your grandma. You're going to get help. And so I think it's a fight worth having internal to the party. I just think at a certain point, you've got to be able to cut a deal. And we've not been able to figure out how to cut that deal. Listen, I don't know what Democrats you're talking to. Every Democrat I'm talking to is miserable, upset, depressed, and terrified of what we're seeing from the Republican Party in terms of their willingness to burn the House down, in terms of their willingness to lie about a coup, in terms of their willingness to, I mean, every Democrat I know is very, very frustrated and upset. I will say, guys, it is October. Mm-hmm. We still have 12 more months plus before the midterms. There is time to turn this around.
There's no question. I'm just saying, when you're up against an existential threat, any win is a win. And, you know, I think that would be the urgency. And I'll tell you what, obviously I'll have you back on. You know what we have to discuss? I still think that if you guys get whooped in the midterms, the legacy is going to be the only agenda item that mattered was securing the democracy. And you didn't do it. And you should have gone to Joe Manchin, whoever it was, and said, we've got to pass something to stop these states from disenfranchising a huge group of Americans, and it's not going to get done before the midterms. Van Jones, respect you. You fought for it. I had you here. You were right. Take care.
Thank you.
And look, again, you know, is there hype? Yes, there's hype in all things. But if you don't think this democracy is being strained in a way that certainly I've never seen in my lifetime, I'm 51. I've been doing this over 20 years. I've never seen anything like where we are right now. You have half the political system invested in saying our elections are illegitimate.